Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about today's severe weather threat. So let's get a little bit more on that. So again, right now it is 9 p.m. and I'm going to talk more about our threat. Right now, there's no rain coming through as of right now, but it's just to our west. So let's take a look together about where this storm is right now. So right now, you can see that it is intersecting I-20 there in Alabama, and this red area is a tornado watch in effect for places of South Louisiana all the way through Mississippi and into Alabama and a small sliver of North Florida. Now, this system definitely has started to weaken. We had a lot of tornado warnings in Texas and Mississippi, but now it's just seeming like some flash flood warnings, a couple tornado warnings there in the extreme parts of South Mississippi. But most of the stuff that really packed a punch earlier was on this north side near Birmingham that's now headed down I-20 towards Atlanta. And all we're seeing right now are flash flood warnings, which is a good news for us as it does weaken across the area. But I do want to pay attention to some little developing cells just to our south and west near Albany that is south and west of Cordele. So something to keep in mind is that we could see a few showers, but the real severe threat doesn't start until around 8 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. But I want you all to turn on your alerts before you head to bed tonight, just in case any rogue severe storm happens overnight. You can download the 13 WMAZ mobile app if you're not watching on the app, or you can definitely have a weather radio or follow either me, Courtney, Alex, or Ben for any types of updates on any severe storms that happen throughout the night into tomorrow. So again, this is where that storm is causing some flash flood warnings. But right now, I'm going to zoom in on Macon. Nothing really going on here in Macon, Warner Robins, anywhere across central Georgia. But our timeline does start into Wednesday morning. I do want to pay your attention to our severe risk for tomorrow. We are in a level 2 out of 5 risk for all of central Georgia, and the main threats are definitely going to be damaging winds, heavy rain, possibly some hail, and you cannot rule out a brief tornado. Again, that time frame is between 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So definitely during the peak times of like where you're going to do activities throughout the day, whether that's work or you're taking your kids to school or the kids are at school. Something to keep into tonight. So into tonight, let's talk about that. It's going to be a very warm night, and when we have warm nights like this, it definitely does help keep storms to get going. So our low temperature tonight is going to be somewhere in the mid-60s. Again, early morning storms, and as we head throughout the day tomorrow, we're going to have another warm day where temperatures will reach the mid-70s. Again, heat is one of the most available energies for this storm, and so when we have heat like that, it helps it bubble up throughout the day. And I'll take you through the timeline of when we should expect these storms to really get going in central Georgia. Now, we usually have the graph model and the high resolution model. The graph model is almost on par or on time with where the storm is now, so it's pretty reliable in terms of when we could see what we're going to see tomorrow. So into 2 a.m. tomorrow, you can already see some of these little showers ahead of the system. Hopefully that can suck up some of the energy that these storms would need to get going. We'll see if that happens. But as we head towards about 4 a.m., that's when these storms start knocking on our door and are around the I-85 corridor. Now, everybody who lives south of I-85, which is all of central Georgia, that's where that level 2 risk is, and level 1 is in the northern parts of metro Atlanta. Now, as we head towards 6 a.m., you can see some action starting to get going a little bit with some scattered shower and storm activity. The problem is once we reach 8 a.m., these start to break apart. Now, this leaves us with a couple of question marks. If these storms do break apart as we head into your mid-morning hours, does this allow for a little bit of sunshine to get through? And if a little bit of sunshine does get through, that means we will have more energy to give to these storms. If not, hopefully this can rain it out and actually lessen the severe weather risk for tomorrow. So we're obviously hoping for the latter, for these showers ahead of the main line to kind of rain it out. So we have a smaller severe weather risk, but right now it's seeming like this will break apart, give some more energy to some storms lagging behind. And so about 10 a.m. to about 2 10 a.m. to about 2 is the real core of this severe weather risk. And again, from 10 to about noon is going to be places west of I-75, including Forsyth, Thomaston, Butler, down to Unadilla, Cordele, and including Macon. So as you see from this model itself, at 10 a.m., we're seeing some heavier showers and storms, and then it starts to kind of conglomerate, if that's a good word to use. It kind of congeals and comes together just east of I-75 after noon, after 12 p.m. So places east of I-75, your timeline is somewhere between 12 and about 2 to 3 p.m., anywhere from Eatonton down to Eastman and over into Milledgeville and Dublin. So that will move out, and then our southeastern counties are really going to be the last ones to get in on this action. That's going to be about from 2 to 3, and then our severe weather risk ends. Thankfully, we're going to dry out as we head into Wednesday night, but not before we have a couple of severe weather risk for tomorrow. So here is kind of the impacts and how much we could really see those impacts for tomorrow. Tornado risk, while it is not zero, it is definitely low for tomorrow, but you cannot rule out a brief spin-up tornado as one of those cells could go rogue. Definitely damaging winds and heavy rain are our biggest threats. We could see some heavy downpours as you saw back in Alabama. They already have some flash flood warnings going on, so is it possible we could see some flash flooding? Maybe. Definitely river flooding would probably be a bigger issue, and that would definitely be something that what could happen is some river flooding, but flash flooding is a small possibility, but definitely heavy rain is probably the biggest impact we'll see. Hail is going to probably remain low as we head throughout this time, but again, biggest impacts for tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. will be heavy rain and damaging winds. Now, we can definitely take a look at what other models are saying in terms of this storm system. So here, if I can go back, here we go. So here is the high resolution model, and why we like this model sometimes is because with the high resolution model, it only goes out to about 48 hours ahead of the actual time. So that means that you're getting a better grasp of what this storm could be. So around 2 a.m., it's still noting that we could see some little showers ahead of the system in central Georgia. And then as we head towards 3, 4, knocking on our door, just like the graph model says. And then here it comes around 5 and 6. We're going to watch out. Okay, this is a little bit different than the graph model. We're going to watch out for some of those little cells you see just south of Macon. Those have the potential to become severe within themselves. We call those discrete cells, and those discrete cells could have enough energy to produce severe weather on their own without being within the main line. Then into 7 and 8 a.m., same thing that it does with the graph. It breaks apart and may give more energy to some of the storms. Yes, and you see those pinkish colors within the storm line. Those are definitely going to be some heavier downpours, possibly some small hail within that as well. About 12 o'clock, there it goes again, doing the same thing as the graph model did. It kind of recollects itself as it moves east of I-75 through the eastern parts of central Georgia, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And then this one, oh, you can even see some of those whiter colors just east, southeast, near Dublin and Soperton. Again, this is not to say that this is going to happen at that exact point, but it's showing that we could definitely have some heavier downpours, possibly gusty winds, and some hail within that. And then it keeps the severe threat out of our way through about 4 to 5. So it kind of lingers a little bit longer than the other model, but basically showing the same exact process. I do want to show you again where this line is now, and it has already made its way into the Birmingham metro area, which means that Georgia is obviously not very far behind, but it is producing a lot of lightning. I'll even zoom in. You can see some of these flash flood warnings there for Tuscaloosa County. And that is possible here in central Georgia. While it remains a little bit on the lower end than it is in Alabama, it is a possibility that we could see some isolated flash flooding. Thankfully, like I said earlier, this storm system was definitely a lot more put together in the northern parts where it is now through Birmingham. And right now, no tornado warnings at all in Birmingham. But if you head just south and west, there's a tornado warning just north of New Orleans. So all this to say that this system, thankfully, is weakening as it heads towards Georgia. We already are seeing some shower action near Albany and everything. And again, hopefully this really starts to soak up the energy before this main line comes through. But again, I'll show you the timeline of what you can expect as we head into tonight. Again, I want to make sure that you guys know to always have your alerts on, whether that's for the 13 WMAZ mobile app or that's with the NOAA radio. Because you definitely want to know, especially for kind of early morning events, while you're sleeping, you want to hear some alerts in case that you don't get up as early as you normally do. Okay, so for 2 a.m., again, that shower action is still going on. But by 4 or 5 p.m., that's when it starts knocking on our door. So anywhere from Butler to Thomaston to Forsyth, you could be getting rain early on in the morning. It breaks apart around 7, but then kind of recollects itself around 9 a.m. And that threat from about 8 to noon will be for places that are I-75 and west, okay? And again, the threats are definitely damaging winds is one of the main threats. Heavy downpours, but you cannot rule out a brief tornado or some small hail within that as well. Then if you head towards about noon to 2 to 3 p.m., that's going to be places east of I-75. And if it gets enough energy with these temperatures being as warm as they are, it is possible that we could have a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Now into 2 to 3 p.m., that's when the threat kind of ends. Could see a few showers lingering behind for places south and east of Macon, specifically places down I-16, anywhere from Dublin, Vidalia, Soperton. You could see some lingering showers, but the severe threat does end as we head into Wednesday night. Again, I want to show you the graphic of the potential impacts you could see from this storm system. And again, while tornadoes are not at a zero threat, it is a low threat. We're not going to expect some type of severe weather outbreak in terms of tornadoes. It's going to be a low end threat. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Not as much. Damaging winds and heavy rain are definitely going to be our main impacts. Hail will be low, but if you see any severe weather, first of all, be safe when taking pictures. But if you have any pictures of, like last week, we had a lot of hail come in. If you have hail pictures, if you have damaging wind pictures like toppled trees, first of all, make sure you're safe, but also if you take those pictures, send it in to the 13 WMAZ mobile app through Near Me, and we would gladly take your pictures and your storm reports as those do come in. Again, this threat is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. All of central Georgia is in this risk for severe weather, a level 2 out of 5. Again, this is a common severe weather outlook to have a level 1 or a level 2. Once you start going to level 3, 4, and 5, those are kind of more rare. So again, we're not expecting some widespread outbreak. It's definitely going to be some scattered shower and storm activity through all of central Georgia. Again, that is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, if you need more updates, you can follow me, Courtney, Alex, and Ben on Facebook or Twitter. We will update you throughout the night in case any severe storms happen in the overnight hours. And again, if you do not have the 13 WMAZ mobile app, you can download it at the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. And make sure to follow us. I'll be back at 11 p.m. with more on the timing and the impacts of tomorrow's severe storm outlook. But everybody, be safe, and we'll see you at 11.